everyone. Welcome to the Summer Design Institute Kickoff. We're so excited to be going on this journey to think about how we can empower our YMCA communities to be change makers and address the challenges that we're facing today. This is going to be a summer of opportunity. We're going to be learning, we're going to be doing, we're going to be making and building relationships with each other and our community partners to address these issues that we are facing today. I ask that I'm going to be sharing my screen in just a moment. And but as we're doing that again, if you just called in, pancakes or waffles in the chat, and we'll get started. Can everyone see that screen? Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Summer Design Institute Kickoff. A quick overview of today's agenda. We are going over today's agenda right now, and then we're going to go over some Zoom norms in just a moment, so we are all familiar with how to operate in this digital space. We're going to then have an introduction to Design for America, DFA, and what design thinking is. We're then going to be able to meet a little bit more of the DFA team and review what you're going to take away from this experience. And then we have the amazing honor and privilege to hear from YMCA representatives and change makers in the problem spaces that we're working on this summer to tell us a little bit more about what they're doing in the space and why you participating in the summer really are going to take this challenge to the next level and empower the YMCA, and why we care about these challenges and why they're important. Then we'll review a little bit of next steps, because this is day one of a few events this week, and we want to make sure that you feel prepared and ready to hit the ground running as we go into the summer. So for today, the Zoom norms, we ask that you have your videos on if possible so that we can see everyone in the chat. And we ask that you follow the naming conventions, first name, dash, whatever organization you're a part of. It helps to have a virtual name tag. The way to change your virtual name, if you go to the Zoom square and your face on the Zoom square, you'll be able to have 3 ellipses in the top right-hand corner. And then there's a drop-down function where you can select rename and then rename yourself. So in best practice, I will also participate in this and rename myself Ross DFA. And now if you go to my Zoom screen place, you'll be able to see that my name tag is now changed. It looks like everyone's doing this right now, but if you, to enable everyone to experience today with minimal feedback, we ask that you mute yourself unless you're talking or you want to engage in the conversation. The way that you can toggle your video and your mic on and off, in the bottom left corner, there's a bar where there's the microphone icon and then a camera icon, and if there's a red slash, it means they're off. So it looks like everyone has their mics off, and also to indicate if your mic is off, there's a little red microphone by your name that appears. So there's lots of different ways to do it. If someone has their mic on and there's some feedback, we will mute you to just make sure that the experience is as seamless as possible. So if that happens, just know how to turn yourself back on. No problems. We realize Zoom is a crazy place. We ask that you use questions and leave comments in the Zoom chat during presentations. So if you want to access the chat, we were answering questions when it comes to pancake or waffles. So many of you already discovered where the chat is. In share screen mode, you might have to do a little bit of digging to find the pop-up bar to identify where the chat is. If you go to the top of your computer and in the share screen, you might be able to go exit full screen, and then it will pop back up into a bar or be a floaty window where you can engage the chat when someone is presenting. We ask, so again, we'll be monitoring the chat and answering questions. Anytime you have something that you're excited about or you have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. We ask that you indicate interest to contribute to the discussion by raising your Zoom hand. There are reaction emoji, a little smiley face with a plus sign at the bottom, and that's where you'll be able to find the raise your hand or love. So DFA team, you could react to something here so we can see what it looks like. You present the emojis, use that digital space to create, yes, I see the ta-das, I see the smiley faces, the laughing at me joy, great. It's really nice. And then feel free to use a virtual background. We have these backgrounds here available for anyone to use, and we'll be sharing them out in the chat so that everyone can use them. So those will be shared out in just a moment. To change your virtual background, similar to where the Zoom turn your toggle on and off of your camera, there's an up caret, and then there's the choose virtual background as an option that occurs with there, and you follow the instructions to find where you can, where the virtual background icon and artwork is on your computer, and then you can upload it to have a very snazzy background for the remainder of this fall and the summer. Let's see here. Great. So jumping into today, it's all about community building and excitement. We are jumping into and starting with an icebreaker. Today's icebreaker is introducing a stranger. So we're going to be going into breakout groups of about 2 or 3, and each of us are going to ask a question and introduce ourselves. And then with the knowledge that when we come back to the group, we're going to be introducing somebody else. So the way that we're going to introduce, and I'll put these in the chat so you have access to, when you're introducing yourself, we'll go around the circle, and the person who is closest to Chicago is going to go first. So geographically, think about where you're located, and then we'll do that. So where are you? And start there. We're going to ask you to share your name, pronoun, and answer one of the following questions. And the questions are: if you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why? Which animal would be your sidekick and why? And if you were a potato, what way would you like to be cooked? Very important questions here, and we'll share those out in the chat and go into the breakout rooms in just a moment. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll go into the breakout groups. Let's see here. So it's being a little sensitive. I can't pull up the chat window to put it because my Zoom is being weird. But, oh, perfect. Thanks so much, Glory, for posting those in there. So Joy, if you would like in the...
Oh, yeah. We just got a little bit of rain yesterday. That was it. In Raleigh. But, yeah.
Wonderful. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, if anyone is in the tropical storm area, Claudette, I hope you are safe, and thank you again for joining us, and hopefully the rain has not bothered you. I'd love now to learn a little bit more about the new people that you met, the strangers no longer. So I'd ask Jordan, if you want to start us off, who did you meet? Could you introduce them, their name, pronouns, and their answer to one of the questions?
Yes, so I met Kate, although I already knew her. Oh, and that reveals her pronouns. Her pronouns are she, her. And if she would have dinner with anyone, it would be Beyonce, because she loves Beyonce. Her sidekick would be a cat. And if she was to have to cook potatoes, it would be garlic mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. I also met my bestie. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Sophia? Sophia? Kate, can you help me out? I'm so sorry.
No, I think you're good. I think that's good. I don't think he was having some technical difficulties, which is why not all 8 questions were answered. So he was trying, but you can give what you know, Jordan.
Okay, so he said his pronouns was he, him. And if he was to eat with his family, he would be eating Cambodian food because he loves Cambodian food. His sidekick would be an elephant. And he said French fries. I also said French fries for the potato question too. So yeah.
Thank you so much for introduction, and hello, Kate and Sokita. It looks like you made it back on the call. So an elephant and French fries. Great to learn more about you. I'd now ask Molly if you want to introduce someone that you met on the call and name and their answer to one of the questions that you learned about them.
Sure. I think y'all can hear me, right? Okay. So I was reintroduced to Ria, and did I say it right? I did it wrong, didn't I? It's Raya. I screw it up every time. I'm gonna get it right.
No, it's Ria. You said it right the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, And she was saying that if she could have an animal sidekick, it would be a unicorn because her school mascot was that at one point in her life, and also she could like fly around with the animal. So I was like, that's pretty good. I like that. I might have to steal it. So, oh, and her pronouns are she and her.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And last but not least, let's see, Sparkle, could you tell us who you met today?
So I was also in a group with Molly and Ria, and for Molly, she named pronouns are she, her, hers, and she wanted to be mashed potatoes if she had to be a potato and cook. That just made more sense, tasty. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, all of the potatoes, I'm glad we can agree. It looks like there's some hot water when it comes to French fries as being the only answer. So see Jane for more information about that. But yes, mystical elephants, mystical animals, elephants, and all of the above are here with us today. We have spirit animals and sidekicks and all of the starches that we could ever eat, getting ready for the design process as we move forward. So I'm going to share my screen one more time as we get started into this next portion of today. And stay in the chat because we're going to be using the chat a little bit more for this next portion because I have a question for everyone. We are starting and embarking on a journey through the design process. And with that, a lot of people might be unfamiliar, or this might be someone's first time using the design process, thinking of the design world in this way. And that's totally okay. We want to work with you, better understand, and are excited for you to learn along with us. And so my question for everybody, if you could in the chat, please answer this question of what does design mean to you? When you say this big thing, what actually is it, and what is everyone's view on it? So take a minute, think about it, peruse. We have creativity, problem-solving toolkit, making things work better, serve others in the way that they want and need to be served. Wonderful articulation. Never-ending opportunity for change and innovation. I see the chat is flooding. Creative ways to solve issues of today, coming up with a game plan to execute. Thoughtfulness, very, very nicely distilled. Creative problem solving, creativity, strategy, ideas, innovation into experiences, existing conditions into preferred ones. Having the tools to approach big, insurmountable questions and center the people most impacted by them. This is the broad range and the excitement and the ethos and spirit of what design is. There's not one exact answer to this question. It is a mindset for approaching problems. It is a view and a point of view of having how you relate with community partners and build relationships with them so that you can go out into the world and change undesirable circumstances into ones that better serve the community and the people facing those challenges. So it's a continual process. It's a practice. It's something that you try and you fail and you learn and you keep going through. And that's the beauty of the design process. And it's something that we at DFA National truly believe in and are excited to inspire and see you all figure out for yourselves exactly how we can answer this question at the end of this with new insights and new experiences that we carry along throughout the whole entire year and both summer, year, lifetime, and beyond. I'm now going to pass it over to my colleague, Lori Dang, to tell a little bit more about how Design for America thinks about design and who we are and what we do.
Thanks so much, Ross. Hi, everyone. My name is Gloria. I'm also a program coordinator at DFA National, and I'm very excited to share with you more about DFA. So what is DFA? Design for America is a lifelong community of people that believe in the power of design for social good. And it's really amazing that we're already in this place with all of these people, like in the chat that you just saw, who feel like design is a way to make the world a better place. So with DFA, it all starts with a college campus experience where students work together in teams to learn this problem-solving toolkit that we call design and apply those skills to work with local communities in their area. So in the same way that these college students in DFA would be working with their communities, that's what you'll be doing this summer with the Y. The Summer Design Institute is going to teach you new tools for collaborating, for breaking down issues and understanding complex environments, for creating really creative ideas to support your social impact project. So this summer, you're going to learn design thinking, the framework on the left in that picture with those orange and gray icons. That's the process that you'll be learning and seeing throughout the summer. It really pulls practices from arts and improv, from business and science to create this like ultimate creative problem-solving toolkit. And the skills that you'll practice in this way can be used on any and every topic, whether you want to build something physical or digital or experience-based. And throughout this process, you're going to be working in interdisciplinary teams with your peers. You'll be building relationships with your local Y, other partners, and other high schoolers to work together and share ideas and be really creative about what kind of impact you want to make. Throughout this project work and teamwork, you'll essentially be creating a design and social impact movement that you can bring back to your school and your community. So in this slide, you can see two photos of some previous DFA YMCA projects that we worked on. On the left is a project that was tackling how to increase the retention and recruitment of lifeguards, who are really important for running community swimming pools at the YMCA. And on the right, that project was about empowering youth to be change makers in communities. And that's kind of where this whole Summer Design Institute got started with DFA and the YMCA. So we're really excited to be here and to teach you design and have you be the real change makers for the future. Through this SDI summer, you'll work with design coaches who are here on the call and other experts to get feedback on your project, and you'll improve your leadership and storytelling skills. The photo on the left, you can see famous Mr. Obama. This is a photo taken at demo day with Obama for the first DFA project, Jerry the Bear, who has type 1 diabetes and was created for children with the same diabetes to cope with their experience. So in this photo, Jerry was actually coded to sing happy birthday to Obama because it was his birthday. While we won't necessarily be presenting your projects to Obama, we'll be giving you the skills to get started on how to do that. And last but not least, through this experience, you'll build a lifelong community with your teammates through building on each other's ideas and creating something really impactful for your community. So that is DFA in a nutshell, and we're really excited to bring you this experience this summer. Any questions? No questions, great. We're gonna dive right into meeting the DFA team. So I'll hand it back to Ross or Jane.
Yeah, we'll pass it to Jane in just a moment. And Jane, would you like to share your screen at this moment, or shall I walk us through?
I think you got it. I think you're on it. You're doing a wonderful job. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and meet the DFA team. I think, Gloria, thank you for that great introduction to what is DFA. And now we're gonna talk a little bit about who these people are that are gonna be bringing it to you this summer. So I'll get us started. I'm Jane, hello. I use she, her pronouns. I just graduated from Washington University in St. Louis, studying sociology, where I was a team lead with the Wash U Studio. In the summer, I'm the Design Education Summer Associate. So I'll be working with Ross kind of behind the scenes and on some of these workshops to help bring the design process to you and support you in the work that you're doing in your communities. I'm based in Seattle this summer, but I'll be bopping around, so I might be in different places in different calls that we're on. And I'm really passionate about design for social change, talking about how to talk to people. I love to hike. Ask me about paint by numbers. I find them so relaxing. I love them. And if you're ever in St. Louis, let me know because I got some really good racks. But I will pass it now on to Ross.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Ross Brunetti. You've seen a little bit of me so far. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the program coordinator at Design for America, and I'm the lead facilitators on this project, working in partnership with Jane and all of the design coaches to make this experience possible. I am a DFA alumni where I worked and was part of a DFA studio back in Cleveland, Ohio. But now I'm based in Chicago, Illinois, really passionate about the built environment, love the design process and building relationships with people. Love watermelon, retail design, and Steven Universe. So let me know if you ever want to talk about any of the amazing animation things. I just saw Luca last night and cried. So highly recommend that as well. Big animation fan here. And now I'll pass it to Sparkle.
Hi everyone, I'm Sparkle. I usually hear her pronouns, and I'm one of the design coaches for the summer. I also, like Jane, I go to WashU. I'm a rising senior, double majoring in fashion design and sociology, and I'm based in the Chicagoland area. Some things that I'm super passionate about: I love zero waste fashion. I can talk about oat milk all day. I like working in a lot of different student programs as well, so feel free to ask me any questions about that. I also would love to have a conversation about who my car is named after, if anyone wants to ask. One of my favorite writers. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you all this summer and seeing what we create.
Hi everyone, I'm Jun He. My pronouns are he, him. I'm currently a student at UC San Diego. I'm finishing up my last couple of quarters there, and I will be a studio lead for the upcoming year as well. Over the summer, however, I'm a design coach, and so yeah, I'm excited to work with everybody. I'll be mostly based in San Diego, although right now I'm in LA. And I'm passionate about applying design thinking to all the different to a lot of different areas. And before DFA, I was working on an empathy-focused video calling platform. And yeah, something you could ask me about is soccer or my experiences living in Indonesia and Korea.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. I just graduated from Tulane this spring in political economy and international development. And I was a part of the Tulane studio of DFA. I used to be a studio lead, and this summer I'm going to be a DFA design coach. I'm really excited to be working in the social justice problem space. And this summer I'll be based in Bellingham, Washington. Might also do a little bit of traveling, but mostly based here. I'm passionate about liberatory design, using design for social good, and also public art and printmaking. So feel free to talk to me about any of those topics. I'm also working on a poster making project, something else you can bring up, and as well as a research project with a fair housing organization in New Orleans where I went to school.
Great, so thank you for everyone introducing themselves. We wanted to kind of end this. There's a bigger team of us at DFA. These are just the people that you'll be working with most closely this summer, but we have a bigger, wonderful team who will be popping in and out. So feel free to reach out, get to know any of us design coaches and people involved with the SDI program this summer, or any of our other friends at DFA National. But before we get into a little bit more about what you're going to be taking away from this summer, we have a quick little activity. We shared what we're passionate about or learned recently, but would love to hear from everyone else. Just throw in the chat what's something that you're passionate about or recently learned so we can compare. I was going to say, Kate, I have some cool prints that my friend made in the background over here. I'm going to have to show you because I'm not interested in it, but I'm interested in what comes from it. But if people want to throw in the chat, that would be great. What's something that you're passionate about or recently learned that we could chat with you about? Okay, Ria, so we're passionate about education. Oh, colors. We're really excited about colors. All of these things. Oh, goofy cats. Sarah, we might need to talk about that. Yes, self-discovery. I love a good reflection moment. Ooh, language learning. That's something that I got to work on. Astronomy and fashion. That's Sparkle. Fashion. There you go. One connection already. policy reform and family law and child protective service reform and prison reform and public policy in general. Well, welcome to DFA. This will be a great spot for talking about a lot of those things. And Pokemon, for talking about public policy reform and Pokemon is what we do here at DFA. Okay, Joy, air fryer. I know that you are a big proponent of the air fryer, so we have some recommendations or some requests for maybe some instruction on how to use the air fryer. Oh, Daniella and Ross. Look at that connection. Okay, well, so this has been wonderful. Please keep throwing things in the chat, making those connections, private message someone if you see an overlap and you want to connect further. But for now, we'll go ahead and move on to what are you going to be taking away from this experience? You're here, welcome, we're really excited you're here. And we want to just share a little bit more about what's going to make this summer so wonderful. So as Gloria already touched on, this summer is going to be about learning the design process and specifically how you guys as change makers can address specific problem spaces that are meaningful to you in your own communities. And so we really want to emphasize that by the end of this experience, you'll hopefully be able to feel more confident about engaging with and making change in your own communities through having an increased understanding of the design process and really feeling that sense of power to create change on a local level. And then more specifically, we're going to be doing this through 3 possible project goals. I think we might have gone back a slide, but that's cool. Equity and social justice, the climate crisis, and mental health, really looking at how the YMCA can support young people in addressing these topics in their own communities. So now we'll go back to the next one. Some of the ways that we're going to be doing this is you're going to be connecting and have a community of peer leaders on this call. And if more people join us this summer, these kind of projects are great to have on a resume and for college applications because they are really great examples of creative thinking and really taking that initiative to make change in your communities when you see that it's needed. Project management and presentation skills are great things that come out of this DFA process and are just important for things outside of design. Just learning to work with people and talk to people is a wonderful skill. And then you'll also be learning a new way to creative problem solve. I think at DFA, we like to say that this isn't necessarily something you haven't done before. It's just a nice framework for understanding how to apply these skills to these crazy questions that can feel really tough to tackle. And you'll also have an excuse to build a portfolio of work. So really start putting together projects, understanding how to frame things to talk to employers, colleges, all of those people about how wonderful you are, because you are wonderful and you're doing a lot of these things already. And we're really here to help support that and help you do it even better. So I think now Ross is going to take a moment to talk about why this matters to the YMCA.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. And again, if you have any questions at any moment, the chat is available. But we're so excited to work with you and embark on these possible problem statements. And these challenges do not exist in the background or in the background in a vacuum or somewhere where they're not actually real issues. This summer, we're going to be focusing on one of those identified topic areas that is central to the YMCA's work and who they are as a movement and as an organization. And today we're very fortunate to hear from representatives from across the YMCA's community to tell us a little bit more about what they're up to, what they're doing, and why this is important work, and what they've done before, and how you can continue this and carry on the torch as we head into the summer. So today we're going to hear from Sophia Bay, who is a community direction or operations director at Long Beach YMCA. And he will be introducing Daniella Bulgarian to discuss the climate change space. So Sophia, we're so grateful to have you here, and I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much. Good to see and connect with everyone during these very special meetings. All the change makers, this is the time actually we have been waiting for over a year and a half. Now getting to summer, and what a great projects and gathering to be together today, starting from today. Introducing first, Daniella Bulgarian. Daniella is a sophomore in college and has been a part of the YMCA Youth Institute at the Community Development YMCA of Greater Long Beach since 2012. Daniella is very passionate about arts, animations. She shared earlier in the chat box, and climate actions. Daniella is a member of the Youth-led Solution team on climate action, representing the community development YMCA Greater Long Beach. She is a very proud member of this team, and to educate the fellow change makers, the YMCA and the community around reducing food waste to increase food security and protect the environment as well. She has provided youth-led leadership to the youth-led solution on climate actions to create educational materials. And what's special is that Daniella designed this beautiful youth-led solution on climate action t-shirt that I am wearing right now. You see a beautiful earth with two hands holding it. It's a beautiful design. Daniella is very talented, committed, and passionate about climate action by using the art and animation and design in order to educate people. So we are so fortunate to have Daniella, the young change maker who has been at the forefront of rescuing food to provide to the community in need during this pandemic. For Daniella, the problem about food insecurity is not about our country having no enough food, but the problem is wasting a lot of food that could go decay in landfill and waste a lot of energy, including water, to produce it. To do this, she has been working on reducing food waste and increasing food security, equity, and food justice. So Daniella, thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Daniella Bulgarian. As you said, I'm from the Long Beach YMCA. I would first like to show a small video of my team's project to see what it's about, just to summarize. So that could be shown real quick.
Climate Action Solutions team has created a project to address food insecurity during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as addressing the climate change effort. The United States mass produces ample amounts of food, which attributes to the spending of water and energy for growing crops. About 40% of food waste ends up in landfills to decompose and release methane gases into the atmosphere. Our project aims at rescuing food from local grocery stores that would have otherwise gone to waste and creating boxes of produce, canned goods, and meats to distribute back into our community. By providing this service, we are allowing families relief from spending on groceries so that they can focus their money on paying rent and other essentials. This leads to reduced levels of stress, depression, and fear in the household. While providing a meaningful service to our community, we are also teaching community members a valuable lesson about saving money, accepting imperfect produce, reducing their food waste, and doing their part to address climate change. We hope that our efforts may inspire you to make a change in your community so that we can solve the climate crisis together before it's too late.
Okay, sorry, my voice. So that was my youth-led solutions team project. We decided to focus on food insecurity and food waste, because as I said in the video, 40% of all food in America goes to waste, and that's just a waste of resources and energy that's put into making those crops, into, eating chicken and beef, all those different things. So it was really fun being able to work with my team on this project. It was very, I'm so sorry, I'm a little nervous. It was very, it was a very meaningful project. So my advice for encouraging youth to get involved is just demonstrating that it doesn't really like matter like how old you are. You can make a difference in your community into helping the environment or anything. A lot of people like to try to say that it's too late to help the environment. The environment is so fragile and it can't be fixed, but that's not true. They just say that so that they can continue to do what they do and make excuses and stuff. But yeah, so I'm so sorry. Here are some of the pictures of us doing our project. It was a lot of organization skills, definitely having to each week get all of the produce and sort through all of the food of the good and bad and be able to put it in beautiful little boxes and give it to everyone in like the drive-through fashion. So I'm so sorry. So the big takeaway of like being able to like help with climate change issues is motive positive into participating with their community to help solve these issues. Yeah, so I'm so sorry. I'm kind of blanking out for my presentation. Okay.
Daniella, thank you so much. If everyone could give a big round of applause, it'd be greatly appreciated. And Daniella, this is such an amazing project. I love seeing the video and the way that you were able to make action happen in your community and really impact and touch and affect the lives of the people that you and your organization helped in your snazzy t-shirts. Very beautifully done. Thank you for representing and always celebrating your work. And you are the DFA. I give you the seal of approval from this organization, building relationships with your community. You're already living out the design process and making change and making that commitment. And you've documented your process in such a wonderful way to tell the story. We totally understand what you're working on, what you're doing. And you really inspired me and hopefully many other people on this to really think about their relationships that they're developing with the people in their community and how we can go forth together. So thank you so much, and for also speaking with us today. And we just want to keep learning from you and your great work, and we hope that you'll continue to pop in throughout this journey so we can learn from you and you can help us with your experience as we go through this and try to make change in the climate change space already, because you're already there, you're doing it. We're trying to get there with you. So you're the expert and you've told us a wonderful opportunity. Can we get another round of applause for climate change activist Daniella? Thank you so much. Up next, we're going to hear and shift gears a little bit into the mental health space. We're going to be hearing from Sarah Johnson, who is the mental health director at the La Crosse area YMCA. La Crosse area being La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is near and dear to my heart because my aunt is actually up in Wisconsin in La Crosse. So Sarah, I'm very excited that you are representing La Crosse today.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And you can see my slides? Perfect. Okay, thank you. I am so honored to be here. I got asked to join this call late last week, and I did not realize what I was going to get myself into. These change makers here, holy cow. I am so excited to hear what you come up with. I am just truly, truly really honored to be here. So I'm going to give you all my slides. I have way more information than you probably want or need and more than I have time for, but know that there's all kinds of treats in these slides. In the speaker's notes, you'll find actual links to skill sheets and way more information. So I just wanted to briefly say thank you for letting me talk about one of my passions today, which is mental health. And know that when we talk about mental health, what we're doing at the Y really is impacting mental health on a daily basis, whether we realize it or not. And so the work that I've been involved with is to really try to help highlight the fact that the why is medicine. Mental health is simply how we think, feel, and act. We have it, all of us. We're pretty much doing those things all the time as humans, thinking, feeling, and acting, most often all at the same time. And so nobody's immune from mental health. And I think as we think back, especially over this last year and a half, I think there is a greater understanding of the fact that as humans, there's always going to be times where we have extra challenges that impact how we think or feel or act or all of the above. And so that's not something weird. It's something normal, and we need to get good at talking about it. And the why is a really beautiful place to be able to be that anchor for our communities. So when I'm talking about, what does it mean for folks to understand that mental health is how we think, feel, and act, I really want us to be in a world where we all know how to take care of ourselves and we all know how to take care of other people by doing the simple things that most of us are doing every day already. Just asking, how are you, but actually meaning it and pausing for actual genuine and authentic answers to that. And so, when we're thinking about mental health, this is one of the many ways that we can ask, how are you, by actually inquiring about how people's sleep and appetite, how their motivation and concentration, just generally, how hopeful are they feeling, how they're caring for themselves. Those are all measures of our mental health. And so we really want to help people know how to ask those questions in ways that are trauma-informed, meaning that we are opening up the door for people to be honest and genuine in their responses, especially if they're not doing super great. And we're not training everybody in the world to be a therapist or a psychiatrist. We're just training us in how to support people with really how are we taking care of ourselves and each other. So we want to know then how to help people when they need help. We need to know when it's beyond our scope as a community member. So this graphic here, the community of care, is really kind of an illustration of what I'm talking about here. So if in our communities, we have formal supports in the form of trained mental health professionals and trained medical providers, those are the folks that we go see in outpatient or inpatient care. So when I go to my therapist, I'm going and seeking out a formal support to help support my mental health. And that might be because I've experienced crisis. You can see here in our middle, we've got trained community members, which is my goal, to have our entire community know how to respond when there's a crisis, because we never plan it. We don't put it on the calendar. So it would be helpful if we all knew what to do when there's a crisis. And some of our communities are lucky enough to have crisis response teams who are more formal supports as well. And then we've got a lot of people in our community who may just experience crisis with no training at all. So really want to try to get us all to that place where we have at least the basic training. And as we think about then the biggest part of this triangle here, the green, that's our community care that happens every single day of the week, right? So that's our family, our friends, our neighbors, our spiritual leaders, our Y leaders, our change makers. The youth on this call are going to be leaders in how do we help our entire community know how to support ourselves and each other. So really what that looks like is building the capacity of informal supports, in other words, all of us, to provide that compassionate support. And how do we want to do that? Well, we want to be able to get those skills and tools where people actually live, right? And so at the Y, well, we've got the advantage of being able to embed those tools and supports and skills at the Y. And many of our Ys are in the community. Many of us have lots of different reaches in different branches of the community. And so we really want to build that capacity of all of us. I know I'm running out of time here, so I just want you to know that you'll also be getting some information on asking for help when you need it. That's a really important skill for us as humans, because if we don't know how to do anything else, but we know how to ask for help, we're going to be good, right? If I don't know how to do a math problem, but I know someone who does and I'm comfortable asking for help, then I'm going to get my answer on that math problem, right? Same thing goes for if I'm experiencing a crisis, if I'm experiencing some struggles with my mental health or with a relationship. If I know how to ask for help and I can trust that help is going to be helpful, that's another piece to mental health, to be able to actually trust others with my mental health, then I'm going to be able to get some help. So super important. We all need help sometimes because humans need humans. And you'll also be getting, so the red light skills, this will give you a national resource list in case you're thinking, oh, that probably is a good idea to ask for help. And hey, I have been asking people, how are they? And then they tell me they're not doing great. And then I don't know what to do. Want to make sure you know that there's lots and lots of support out there. So getting you some national lines there. The work that I'm working with a number of our colleagues on at the Y that would be probably an incredible thing to have your help with is really bringing this work to life through our mental health framework. Some of you maybe have seen our diversity, inclusion, equity, global work. That is this framework right here. We're not reinventing the wheel because mental health is a dimension of diversity. So of course we want to use that same framework. So lots of right doors in to helping build these communities of care. You'll be getting a couple of extra gifts from me here. Dinner Table Resilience is a series of videos and skill sheets. So feel free to share those far and wide if you like them, which I hope you do. I also host a monthly webinar that is for us supporting our own mental health. So if any of you are wanting to be on that invite, there's a link there. You can also email me and I can add you to the calendar invite. And then you can also see we've got a lot of tools and resources on our mental health page for our La Crosse area family YMCA. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see your lovely faces for a minute and just say, I so appreciate all of the work that you're doing. And as Daniella was talking, I was like, these are such connected issues. And I love that you gave the shout out to mental health when you said, if we can provide food security for folks and help people not have to worry about finances, that has a direct impact on mental health, right? So the social determinants of health, even with climate change, with all of these pieces that you're working with social justice and building an anti-racist community and globe, all of this is so connected to mental health. So I know that we're gonna win with anything that this team comes up with. So I'm gonna stop talking, give it back to Russ, but I'm open for any questions if you have them.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. If we could get a round of applause for Sarah. Thank you so much. Sarah and Daniella, again, we are a little bit ahead of schedule. So now I'd like to offer, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself or raise your virtual hand. For either Daniella, if you feel comfortable asking or responding to some questions, we'd love if anyone has any. And Sarah, same, if you would take a few minutes to answer some questions if anyone has. But does anyone raise your hand if you have a question? Just want to give it people the time and space if they would like to comment. Daniella, we have a question in the chat. If you want to type your response or unmute yourself either way, what is the biggest learning in your project and what would you do differently?
The biggest learning in my project, I would say just like how important it is to just not only have like your team involved, but like having your community involved as well. So like reaching out to like everyone in your community to come help, because our project wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for everyone in like the program and like their families and like, so like parents or other people and volunteers that came in and helped us like make everything happen. It wouldn't have been possible. So I think the biggest thing is kind of like reaching out to your community for help, like more people, not just like your team personally. And what I would do differently, nothing like really. I think maybe because towards the end we started, or like to like now we figured out how to like organize everything to flow better each week. So each week we changed it to like get better and have it go faster. So that was, I guess we just changed that.
Yeah, Daniella, well, before we get to it, yeah, Heidi, I was just going to say that is design. You built a relationship with your community partners. You were co-creating with them to identify what they're doing, and then you were iterating to just make it better each time. There's not, it's just, we did it once and we did it, but you were continually evolving and having conversations and addressing things to improve. And that's the process of design, where you just keep making it a little bit better each time so that the community is benefiting. So we're doing design, and you're living out and describing it perfectly, more than we'll do in our boot camp probably in the next couple weeks. So we're so grateful to have you and your experience here. Sarah, what are the biggest gaps you see in our communities around mental health?
Yes, that's such a good question. Thanks, Haiti, for asking that. Most people do not seek out formal support. So it is a privileged few who are actually able to have insurance, to be able to have the kind of work where or school where they can leave for an appointment and the travel time on either end of that, and afford to pay the copay. Let alone trust the healthcare system, right? And so we see even greater gaps with our folks of color in our communities, anyone experiencing poverty. So, essentially, I would say we just need to flip our entire model. So I love thinking about these brains on this design, because the way we deliver mental health care just simply does not make sense. And it does, while it works really well for the people who are able to get in, and so I don't want to diminish that by any stretch of the imagination. I've benefited from my own mental health care, and I am a mental health therapist who's worked in the healthcare system for many years. So I know that there is an impact there. It is certainly not the impact that it could be, and it is definitely not an equitable impact. So thank you for asking that, Heidi.
Let's see, Alora, Sarah, we have another question.
Yes, I do think so, Alora. So telehealth will be helpful. I think telehealth, I was just amazed at how great telehealth was. And I really, really hope that we can advocate for continuing to pay, because essentially we were in a crisis and had to offer telehealth. So a lot of laws were kind of forgiven for the time being during the pandemic. And we are at risk of people wanting to go back to quote unquote normal and the traditional way of doing things. So I think telehealth can be a really, really helpful tool. I do not think we should be getting rid of it. Doesn't work for everybody, but for those that it works for, it actually has taken a whole lot of barriers out of mental health. So thank you for asking that, Laura. I love telehealth too. So much better, so much easier.
Okay, so you said, what did you learn through this work? A lot. I'm just kidding. I learned that you don't really have to I don't know, I used to think when I was younger that if you were to be involved in something of climate change or environmental issues and stuff, you had to be a scientist or have a degree or be an expert at it, but you really don't really have to do that. There are a lot of things that anyone could do to just help with these kind of issues, and it's to you with more people, with others. I feel like people think oh my god, I have to solve this on my own, I need to do it all by myself. But so I just learned that working in a community is just amazing, and personally it helped me grow a little bit of my leadership skills, and being able to just be more involved in my community, and I guess just being able to appreciate.
Thanks so much, Daniella. I think you cut off at the end there for me, so I don't know, but
Oh, what did you
No, I think
hello? Is it cutting in and out?
Yeah, we heard you say you appreciate, and then it was cut off from that.
Oh, I said that doing this project helped me appreciate my community more.
no, thank you so much for sharing, Daniela. And that relationship and appreciation for your community is something that we hope everyone gets away from this summer and are able to continue and have those conversations and build that community of care that we saw from Sarah's presentation. The intersectionality of all of these problems is real. The work of addressing your human needs, having things to eat and not worry about it when where you're thinking where your food is coming from is directly affected to how you're thinking and feeling and acting and creating how you view your mental health and how you're taking care of oneself. So the work and the scope and the interrelationship and that ability that you just articulated, Daniela, of being able to do that no matter who you are or when you in or like what type of expertise you have in that like level. You don't have to be the climate scientist to do climate change work. You can start to address those issues by just looking outside your door and building those relationships and figuring out the impact that you have the ability to influence and make and rally people around is the most powerful thing in the world. It's amazing and human and addresses the issue. So thank you so much for doing that. And that's what we're working on this summer. In the interest of time, we'll have to scoot on to the next closing parts of this presentation. But again, if we could get another virtual round of applause for Daniella and Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and for sharing your stories. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. Can people see this slides? All good, wonderful. So as we're jumping into the rest of this week, we want to just take some time to do a high-level overview of what this project is. We've seen a lot of what DFA is. We've seen a little bit more about the problems we're going to be working on, but the structure that we're working on them is as follows. Many of you might have seen the slide before, but this week we're going through a boot camp where we're creating strong team dynamics during a design process initiative. We have a call tomorrow to help us with the tools and teaming that we're going to be working on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then creating making sure we know how to work together and use the tools so that we can learn the process in this remote way. Then we're going to be understanding and building that relationship with our community and our partners as we talk about the problems that people are facing with them, not again designing in a bubble, but learning about the problem space with the people in our communities. And then we're going to co-create and develop prototypes to build and test and try things in that constant iteration of we're going to do it the first time, get some feedback, and then improve it next time. That is what the creation and iteration cycle is all about, so that we can get that feedback loop and inform and make it better as we move forward. And then again, through this through line, you're going to be able to develop your professional development skills and presentation and documentation to share out your concepts with the YMCA. And we'll have a wonderful audience of DFA friends, YMCA members, and many people and peers that you'll be working with to share out your concepts and celebrate the work that you've done this summer in advancing the causes that we're working on. Looking to the way that this will work as we go through those week by weeks. Mondays is the days where we're going to attend a weekly DFA workshop to learn new skills and steps to enhance your process. So we'll have workshops and breakout rooms and opportunities to develop and really hone in on different steps of the design process and different things that you need to know to be prepared to live out the process and have that developed framework to do the work that you want to be doing. On Tuesdays, you'll have the opportunity and have one-on-one coaching time to debrief, talk about what you learned on Monday with Junhee, Sparkle, or Kate, the design coaches that we just met earlier, and build a relationship with them so we can help you in doing your projects and address those roadblocks, answer those questions, and think through the things that you want to think through when you arrive to those and plan ahead and make sure we're all on track moving forward. And then some of the Fridays that we have, not every Friday, but some of them, there'll be formal cohort-wide feedback sessions where you'll present out what you've done, what you've learned, and where you're going next, so that we can get that culture of feedback that can help us grow and inform. And I loved what that one slide that Sarah had at the end of asking for help when you need it. That's the culture that we're developing. We're all excited to have this positive impact, and we're much stronger when we're creating that community of care, and by caring about each other and wanting them to succeed, and helping and learning how to give feedback in a way as an art form, and receiving feedback and incorporating it and into your project so you can improve them is something that we'll be focusing on, and you'll have the opportunity to do. So we're excited to have these built-in moments for reflection, for feedback and improvement and growth that is structured into the summer. Again, you particular as the change maker, you're going to be learning the design process, participating in homework, building relationships, and using that problem framework to address the challenges. You're going to be attending these workshops, completing weekly assignments, working independently and collaboratively, participating in weekly check-ins that we just articulated, and participating in those crits, which are those feedback sessions, critiques or crits, and expos. And don't worry, we'll be defining lots of terms in the upcoming days to make sure you know all the design lingo, and co-facilitating interview and testing sessions with people in your community so that you can have conversations, synthesize those conversations, and have informed directions from those realities of people facing the issues. And that leads us to what's next. So we're in a busy front-loaded week. This is a unique cadence that's different from all the other weeks, where tomorrow we're going to be doing a session all about the tools that we're going to be using. So we're going to be looking at Zoom. We're going to be looking at our software called Mural and Slack and Google Drive that we have prepared, and making sure that everyone's familiar and understands and can navigate, feel prepared to use the tools that we're going to be using this summer. So asking the question, how can we use this suite of tools to the best of our abilities? And then on Wednesday, we're going to then take the tools that we now know how to use, and we're going to create successful team dynamics by having conversations, getting to know, and actually using the design process in a way on ourselves to build a strong, cohesive units that are prepared to take on any of the challenges and any of the roadblocks or bumps that might come your way. Like Sarah said, again, you can't prepare for a crisis, so we're going to take the time to talk about it as a team and make sure that we know how we can be strong and resilient individuals and build that culture from the start, so we're prepared to address and have a plan for anything that might happen moving forward. And the other thing this week, I'm going to pass it to Jane to tell us a little bit more about this design sprint.
Yeah, so this Saturday from 11 to 2:30 Central Time, we're going to be doing a quick overview of the whole, basically what we're going to be doing this summer, focused on the question, how can we help our fellow YMCA changemakers have a fun and engaging summer? So hopefully by the end of this, we'll have an idea of what the design process is and what it looks like in practice, and some really great ideas that we can hopefully implement to make sure that this is a fun and engaging summer for everyone, in addition to educational.
Yeah, so we need your help to make sure we're doing the fun things that you want to do this summer, in addition to all the learnings that we're going to be doing. And a great way to do that is by asking you, what do you want to do? It's great. So we'll be sprinting through that and developing some challenges and opportunities for us to follow and develop as a team. So before tomorrow, just so you know what's going to be happening, be sure to just check your emails for some to-dos to prepare for the tooling session. So we're going to be sending some emails out after this to your emails to join a Slack workspace and a Mural workspace. So we ask that you follow those instructions before tomorrow so that we can be in those spaces together. You can just download them, click them. You don't have to necessarily explore. We invite you to explore if you feel so inclined, but just setting those up and being prepared for tomorrow is all you need to do. And then a reminder for YMCA youth leaders, at this moment, as you're identifying which of those problem spaces you want to be focusing on this summer, we want to start early to identify interview participants. So there is a interview a recruitment form, an interest form that you can send out to people in your community to see if they're available for interviews in upcoming weeks. Scheduling things early and putting things on calendar is a wonderful practice that we want to start from the very beginning. So continuing to brainstorm as you identify who you might want to talk to and just sending stuff out to them to see if they're available is a wonderful thing to do. We've now reached the end of this presentation. I'm wondering if anyone has any big picture questions, comments, concerns before we depart in a moment. Wonderful. Again, we'll see each other tomorrow. We'll see each other Wednesday. So there's lots of times to ask questions. Today is really just to inspire us and get us together and start to introduce each other to so that we can develop a strong cohort mentality. I will say right before we hop off, the other thing that we can do is take a team photo. So with this, we would love to just capture this moment for all DFA YMCA eternity. So if you could turn your videos on in just a moment, we'd love to see everyone's face. Going to count down from 3. When I said 3, it's going to be the pose. We're going to do 2 takes. So everyone get ready, center yourself, and say YMCA on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, YMCA. And take number 2, we'll do a fun one. 1, 2, 3, YMCA. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for kicking off the summer with us. We'll see you tomorrow for the tools. Check your email, and we can't wait to see the change that you make this summer. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.